What's up, chat? How's it going? Welcome back to the stream. It's Adepta Sororitas Day for Grotsmas today. We've got the new Champions of Faith detachment to talk about. What's up, everybody? Gotta have faith in the miracles for the new detachment. Yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting discussion because they made a Miracle Dice focused detachment for Adepta Sororitas and then nerfed all their Miracle Dice generations. So, boy, it's gonna be a tough sell, I think. But we do have some, I don't know, there's some good stuff in here. We could definitely talk about some stuff you can do with it. I do think it's gonna be a little bit hard to play with the updated mechanics. I don't think that the Data Slate team and the new detachment team were quite on the same page with this one, but we'll see how things go. Yeah, it's yeah, definitely. I don't know what the deal is with the detachments. They definitely seem pretty hit or miss. I imagine that some of them just get more design time than others, and that's all that there is to it. But we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I think. I do want to make a little bit of a shout out before we dive in. I was just about to go in there, but I'm gonna grab my link real quick. I literally just before the video went live, I released, or it was about an hour ago, I guess. I released a new video about Lieutenant Titus. I'm going to throw that in the chat for all the folks. Y'all should go watch that. I go through some, I did a sheep deep dive on Lieutenant Titus to talk about how he's doing stuff.
Ryan G donated $10 through Super Chat. I think in this detachment more than the others you need to run specific units. I think Estrad Urga and 3x5 Sacrescents is required. Sacrescents give sisters a high-oc durable mid-board piece here.
Sacrescents. Thank you, Takes the Speech. The Sacrescents. Ryan G, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if I can... The goals have, like... The goals are really annoying. But I can make the goal really low for the stream game. I'll make the goal lower because Ryan threw his super chat in there. Yeah, I forgot to put the goal up when I went live. Oopsies. Yeah. Let's do a super chat goal, folks. We do this. We're gonna make a list at the end of the stream, as we do normally, and I will rock a game with it over on the Twitchies immediately as soon as we hit our goal. That's what's going on. And inside this video is super good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But yeah, I think with that we can go talk about some Champions of the Faith, folks. Here we are with the amazing detachment. Honestly, the detachment ability is pretty good. The problem, I think, is this Miracle Dice requirement. It says up to 3 Miracle Dice. It is up to, so normally you're gonna just do one of them. And I think the outlet, the idea is that it gives you this outlet for your low Miracle Dice results in your pool, which unfortunately we have less of because we're not generating quite as many Miracle Dice. So we'll see. And not to mention the fact that the Triumph of St. Catherine now takes your Miracle Dice and makes more of them into 6s. If you're still playing Triumph, which you might not be, then you are rolling less overall dice over the course of the game, even more so than the Miracle Dice nerfs that they already got. So, oh, I was something in my eye. So let's talk about it. In your command phase, you can discard up to 3 Miracle Dice. For each discarded, you can select one Adepta Sororitas unit from your army until the end of the phase. Until the end of your next command phase, or the start of your next command phase. Excuse me. The unit is righteous. While it is righteous, it gets +1 movement, +1 leadership, +1 weapon skill, ballistic skill characteristic. If it is a battle sister, Celestian Sacrosanct, which I think is actually great in this attachment, and Paragon War Suits. So it's up to 3 units for the cost of a Miracle Dice each. Each get all 3 of these benefits. It feels like it's a thing where you purchase the benefits for Miracle Dice, but you select units to get all of them for Miracle Dice. Yeah, it is fairly flexible, but having the additional 3 Miracle Dice, especially in the early game, like once, we're at Battle Round 4, Battle Round 5, you probably have that hang out in the pool after a couple units have died over the course. But the problem is that, round 2, when you really need it, when you're trying to sort of alpha or beta strike your opponent, you may not have the Miracle Dice to both fuel your sort of aggressive units and also be able to fuel these things, because you're going to get 1 in each battle round. So let's say it's battle round 2. You'll have 2 to begin with. If you have the Triumph, you'll have 2 more, which are... Alright, well, I guess you'll get 2 6s out of them. So you have 4, 2 of them are 6s, and then you'll lose maybe a unit or 2, so you might have 5. So in order to fully fuel your detachment roll, you need to spend basically half your miracle pool on battle round 3 or 4, 2 or 3, which is a lot, especially because you also want to be doing things like pumping Morbid Ball. You want to be doing, other stuff with your miracle pool. So that's the tension here. And I do think this probably would have been phenomenally powerful in the pre-nerf miracle pool, sort of, if it was still in its pre-nerf status. As it stands right now, I think it's a little bit tougher to leverage than it would be. Yeah, the simulacrum actually might be good. Yeah, and you can take like novitiates, infiltrate novitiates into midboard objectives, so you can roll like 2 or 3 dice on your simulacra. That can also help too. Yeah, so there is passive generation you can try to force, but the downside is that this army forces you into like basically trying to take all of it in order to actually have a detachment ability, which is I think unfortunate. You do get +1 OOC on Celestian and Sacrosanct units, as long as they're not battle shocked, so that's cool. You don't get, it is with Sacrosanct models in the unit, so it doesn't affect characters. You don't get them to be battle line, however, so it's not like the Bridgehead Strike where we saw battle line Tempestus Scions. They just are hanging out by themselves. Let's talk about some enhancements. Triptych of Judgment is the first one. You ignore weapon skill, ballistic skill, characteristic modifiers, and any modifiers to your hit rolls for models in the Bearer's unit. Always a good effect to have. If this was pure characteristic modifiers, it would be phenomenal. Weapon skill, ballistic skill, characteristic modifiers is fine, especially because I think they're trying to push Battle Sister squads here, because they want to be improving your ballistic skill on your multi-meltas. And getting, ignore stealth or whatever on those guys is pretty okay. Might be a little bit of a points filler, but definitely not a bad thing to have in your toolbox. Mark of Devotion is a melee punchy girl enhancement. 30 points. Holy shit, okay. That's expensive. +1 attack to your melee weapons while you are righteous. So if you have spent a miracle dice to select them as one of the righteous units in your command phase, you get +2 attacks and +1 damage. This is just, it's basically just the, what is it, righteous rage for a palatine. It's just that you just do that again, basically. Which, I don't know, seems pretty good. You can put it on Palatine, you can put it on like a Jump Canoness. All of those models are incredible. They could get 3 damage attacks out, plus additional damage potentially from Palatine too. So this is a good one. Eyes of the Oracle is the next one. You get Precision on the Bearer, and each time your unit destroys a character model, you gain 1 CP. Kind of a points filler as well. Gaining CP is very nice. The requirement to destroy characters makes it very inconsistent. And like precision on your models is okay. It's a free epic challenge every once in a while. And you can also like, I don't know, shoot your... You could do like the Canoness, they could shoot their weird like once per game flamer at a character or something. Yeah. It could work. But in many matchups, you're not really going to get the opportunity to use it, but that's okay. It's only 10 points, so you can take it if you have the additional points. The next one is really good. Sanctified Amulet. You get an Omni Scrambler aura. Enemy reserves cannot be set up within 12 inches. 25 points is quite a bit, but you can do it on something like a Preacher that's a very, very inexpensive, or a Hospitaller, or the lady with the loudspeaker, whose name I forget, the Dialogus. They can all get they're all these little like 40 to 50 point characters that you can just dump this on, and they can hold down your backline objective just fine, which is incredibly strong regardless. And I think this is probably meant to be kind of an aggressive detachment, so I wonder if that's part of the incentive there. The stratagems are the highlight. Yeah, we'll dive into stratagems in a moment here. The detachment is Army of Faith, but on foot. I guess so. Because of characteristic modifiers, modifier ignoring. Seems a little different than Army of Faith. It is miracle dice dependent for sure. Any Sisters player complaining this is just complaining they're subject to RNG. Maybe. It's kind of like anti-RNG though, because your like dice manipulation mechanic you have to spend to get your detachment roll. I don't know. Yeah. 25 points is expensive with the 6-inch deep strike nerf. Yeah, I do think though that with Space Marines, so like Gene Stealer cults are looking insane, right? Or I would say very good. I don't know about insane. Their new detachment's incredible, so it might be insane. Gene Stealer cults look amazing. Space Marines are cracked, right? And both of those factions have and not to mention the fact that Grey Knights look good too. All of those factions have a predominance of deep strikes and close deep strikes as well. So I think that a 12-inch denial bubble is very meta right now, and I think that you would be behooved to include one. I'm trying to fit a Phobos Librarian Infiltrator squad in my Space Marine list. I'm not sure what I cut, but I'll figure it out, because I think that just like windmill slams a bunch of matchups and makes them sad, which makes me happy. Sisters player in the local meta is also are super salty about this. It is a 1-2 punch. Like real talk. Real talk. I think Sisters got hit way too hard. Like they got the old school like 8th ed JW double nerf, where they were like, we're gonna hit your army ability, points, and data sheets. And you're like, why? Why you do that? You could hit any one of those and it would have been fine. I do think that the Miracle Dice mechanic was way too generous for sure. And I think Sisters players that disagree with me on that are biased, but that's okay. Everyone's allowed a little bit of bias. But it was nuts. It was nuts. The like Miracle Dice was a mechanic that just said play Warhammer, get 6s every time you need them, which was like insane. I do think that the Miracle Dice mechanic needed to be toned down to be brought in line with other army mechanics. I think at the same time, though, they could have discounted the stuff that they had previously upcharged for being too synergistic with the Miracle Dice mechanic, and instead they in points increased stuff. The funny 1-2 punch, though, is that you nerf the Miracle Dice mechanic and then release in a detachment literally the next week, like exactly 1 week later, that says if you have a bunch of Miracle Dice, this detachment's really good, and that feels bad, man. Like I understand it. I understand. I don't agree that I think Miracle Dice should not have been changed, but I do understand that it's just so frustrating to be like, oh great, so you nerfed us, changed this thing so we don't get as many of this mechanic, and then also built an entire detachment around using it like at its previous like super broken state. That's silly. Yeah, they needed adjustments, but there's adjustment and nuking it to oblivion for sure. Yeah, like I think that the changes to the mechanic were fine, but it was also like, why is the Triumph of St. Catherine still at 250 points when it doesn't generate you Miracle Dice? Like, what's that? That kind of stuff is like wild. And they've done that a little bit. Like even Space Marines, I think Space Marines are broken right now, but like Fire Discipline got upcharged to 40 points because it gave you 5-up critical. They removed the 5-up critical from it, but they never changed the points value. So I was like thinking about lists where I could use Fire Discipline, and I'm just like, well, I won't though, because it's too expensive. And they basically did the same thing to Sisters. Although it's not like Space Marines are in the same spot. Space Marines are stupid. Incredibly stupid. Yeah. Whenever you hear somebody complaining about Miracle Dice, they actually complain about the Triumph 6. That was the most egregious version for sure. But there was enough like re-roll, like and dice cycling that you could often get yourself into a strong miracle pool regardless. Like Marvin Vol could cycle out a 1 and potentially, like, she would almost kill something every time she shot because her damage output is ludicrous. And then she could recycle whatever she spent into a higher number. You could do the same thing with your Armorium Cherubs or the little Incensor Cherubs, the guys that could spend a Miracle Dice for free. So, like, yeah, you had ways to cycle them out. So it wasn't 100% the Triumph, but it was probably 90% of the Triumph for sure. All right, let's talk about some stratagems. That was a long tangent about Miracle Dice Pools. Let's talk about stratagems. Shield of Denial is the first one. You get a mortal wound, you get a 6-up, feel no pain. If you're righteous, you get a 5. It's kind of whatever. Not even good in terms of mortal wound denial, to be honest, but you know, it is there. Suffer not the unfaithful. Your shooting phase or fight phase on a unit that is righteous and has not attacked yet, you get either lethal hits or sustained hits. Solid. This is a good stratagem. You'll always be pretty okay at taking this. Lethal hits especially, because you can do like weird Dogmata stuff, and you can feed dice into auto 6s, right? And generate lethal hits. Being able to do that on a stick is actually kind of sick, without having to have a Palatine hanging out with you. To the Heart of Heresy is a fight phase stratagem on a Sororitas unit that hasn't fought yet. Until the end of the turn, improve the strength characteristic of... I don't know why that matters. It's just fight phase. It's kind of weird. It's not until the end of the phase, weirdly. Improve the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit by 1. If you're righteous, they also get +1 AP. So it's like a little bit of a lesser version of Honor of the Chapter. You don't get +1 to wound, you get +1 strength. I wonder if the breakpoints are super relevant there. Like, let's see. You're incentivized to take Paragon Warsuits, which come in at strength potentially 8 if you're taking the sword. 8 to 9 is kind of an important breakpoint for medium vehicles, or like light vehicles, I guess. The other one is Sacrosantes. We usually come in at like strength 5, right? Yeah. If they take halberds, they're strength 5. So 5 to 6 is important. You own T3 on 2s, and you start to punch heavy infantry on 3s or 4s. They already have sustain as well, so you can get sustain lethal potentially. If you also use this stratagem, Suffer Not the Unfaithful. And then pushing to AP3 is actually super sweet too. Yeah, so this stratagem solid. Some people are like, this is worse than Thousand Suns. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. This doesn't feel amazing, but it so far it seems like totally workable. Path of the Righteous is the next one used in the fight phase. And a unit that hasn't fought yet, you get a 6-inch pile and consolidate. This stratagem is like always really good every time you get it. So I can't imagine anyone's like upset about having this one available to them, especially if they have OC2 Sacrosantes. Right, so like this is a detachment where we're trying to force high OC infantry down our opponent's throat, and being able to do weird combat maneuvering to take their objectives is actually sick. So this stratagem's always good, especially since you could also you can gain. It's +1 movement, right? Is their bonus, so you're move 7, and you can do weird miracle charges to do like strange stuff with your unit. If you have the appropriate miracle pool, you can potentially guarantee that you have charges of the distance that you want to make sure that you have like you do or do not base, and then can do insane like combat orbits with piling and consolidating. Yeah, I think this stratagem is probably great in this context. This feels like a very strong one to have. Yeah, how does it compare with Imperial Knights? Yeah. Would you like to heal 1 wound a turn and not have rotate ion shields? Brutal. Bastion of Faith is the next one used in a fight phase after an enemy unit selected its targets. You select a Sacrosant unit. Unfortunately, these are mostly fight phase stratagems. We're not doing very much against shooting, which is, I think, going to be a little bit tough. But we'll see how we can maybe make that work. You select 1 Sacrosanct unit that was selected as a target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Till the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, you get -1 to be hit. In addition, if your unit is righteous, you get a second Sacrosanct unit within 6 inches that is not battle shocked. They are also -1 to be hit. That's fine. The Sacrosancts are already -1 to be wounded as long as they have a character, so you can be -1 to hit and wound, which can throw a wrench in a lot of combat math, especially alongside a 4+ invulnerable save, and maybe a feel no pain, but let's not get crazy. Indefatigable. I'm tongue-tied this morning, I guess. Dedication. You use it in your movement phase after an Adepta Sororitas unit falls back. You can shoot. If you're righteous, you can shoot and charge. Always good. Especially because we're trying to lock these Sacrosanct units into melee, theoretically. So it might be a sort of a dedicated melee fight. Yeah, so it's a lot of like kind of neat stratagems. I don't know if any of them are really blowing my mind right now. -1 to be hit in melee, extra movement. Yeah, a couple like minor attack buffs feel okay. Yeah, the Hospitaller in the unit definitely can help them for sure. Although a lot of the stuff that's going to punch through them is like relatively high damage, so I don't know how much the Feel No Pain is going to help you. So I think let's build a list, I guess. I don't have much else to say about this. The stratagems all seem totally fine. It's a little bit unfortunate that it doesn't feel like this is really like sort of blowing open a new playstyle or anything. I guess Sacrosancts are becoming more prevalent in other detachments. And so I guess we're like reinforcing the Sacrosanct play. But it definitely feels like we start windmill slamming Sacrosancts in there. I think the intention is that you play like unattached Paragon Warsuits as well, because we're able to pump them to Ballistic Skill 2. The downside is that I think those units are way too expensive with that Morphin Ball. What is this army called? I forget. Champions of Faith. It's Army of Faith, but Champions. It's of Faith 2.0. Yeah, so we want some additional we want some additional Miracle Dice generation. So Astrid and Agathe might be good to generate Miracle Dice. They generate additional Miracle Dice when they destroy people, and they also generate Miracle Dice when they die. You could, I guess, play them kind of like a little baby what's the Pinata enhancement? Saintly Example character. But it's only D3. Alright, so let's see. I think that I don't know if we even need like Morven on our Sacrosancts. I feel like we maybe, or on our Paragon Warsuits, but maybe we do. So we're gonna start with Sacrosancts, I think, because this has most of the benefits for Sacrosancts. Make sure that we are in. We have all this stuff correct, so we don't have all this crap showing up. Alright, Sacrosancts, let's go. I think I'm in on big units, too. And we'll see how we feel. And then we can figure out the weapons later. I do like the Palatine with the big enhancement. Is there like an equivalent enhancement in here somewhere? Yeah, there you go. The +1 damage enhancement feels pretty good. And then we can take like Dogmata, maybe. We can get our Sacrosancts to OC3. That's kind of cute. But the Dogmata doesn't have. She has a non-leader ability, which is kind of cool. For our backline, like objective holder character. The Imagifier also kind of wants to play a little bit aggressively, so I'm not sure. I think we're just going to take a Dialogus, and then we'll take the enhancement. We'll be 5 points, proxying an additional 5 points here. I also like Battle Sisters with the +1 ballistic skill. Although, actually, Hold up. We can't target them when they're in transports. Oh no. Oh no. I was gonna say, hey, we should put a bunch of guys in rhinos, but that might not be good. Ooh boy, yeah, we definitely need Battle Sisters, but we can't put them into immolators if we want the buff. Or we can just disembark them and play them like normal, which is also fine. I will probably still play an immolator, and we'll just play it like a normal transport, I guess. Yeah, so we need some characters for the Sacrosants for sure. The Canoness actually is kind of sweet. Because we have like 2 stratagems we want to use on these units. I think that's pretty solid. And then also they can just like kind of do some damage too. We don't have the opportunity to dual attach, do we? We can. If we have a Canoness, Palatine, Junith, or Astrid, we can double attach. I don't know if we're that excited about double attaching, are we, chat? I do want a Canoness, I think, to jump into one of the Sacrosant squads. That's going to help us out our CP a little bit. I guess we can take a Hospitaller for one of the units as well. Oh, Jewel attaches Battle Sisters only? Oh, yeah, you're right. That's dumb. Alright, well, good thing we answered that question. Junith Iruita for CP generation? Sure. Yeah, that tracks. I think we can probably kind of like lock in some backline shooting. Not that it's particularly good, because we don't. Oh, I guess we get fallback and shoot with vehicles, which is actually kind of sweet. So we can run a couple of shooty tanks as well to sort of like give ourselves some covering fire. I do think that we probably have to run rhinos. It feels anti-synergistic, and I'm not that excited about it, but I think that we have to run rhinos just for the threat range. Like +1 movement, I guess, is okay. Maybe we take 1 or 2, and then we can like have units start outside and see how we feel. I don't know if there's really that many other like synergies in here, to be honest. I guess we can +1 move anything. It's kind of cute, but I don't know if it's that exciting. This +1 weapon skill, ballistic skill is really what I'm here for. Val is necessary since she has Miracle Edge generation. Because she gets things when she kills people. Yeah, and I guess we can pump a Paragon Warsuit team with the Miracle Dice, even when they're not attacking monsters or vehicles. So there's a little bit of synergy there, but it's a little bit whatever. I guess like you can also give them sustains, right? Yeah, I guess sustains is good when you're rerolling. Okay, I'm in on Paragon Warsuit chat. And then probably some. We feel a little bit light on utility right now. I would like to take some number of castigators. If we take 2, we have 110 for utility. We could take like idiot characters, which I don't know if I'm that excited about. Or we could take Arcos. We could get 2 Arco units just to like jump around and have a good time. We have 15 points left here. Man, the Imperial Agent Ministorum Priest is like 10 points less than this one. I guess that's the cost of having your having Miracle Dice for sure. So we have 15 points left. We could replace an Arcoflagellant with a 60-point thing, which I don't know if there's anything that's really better, to be honest. Probably fine. Yeah, enhancements, I guess, yeah. Yeah, we could do the Ignore Modifiers enhancement. That's probably pretty good. Put that on. The Palatine already has one. Put that on the Canonist, I guess. And I think that's where we're at, chat. Yeah, you could double up with the Triumph too, but it's like the Triumph is just like an entire brick, right? It feels too expensive to me for like a narrow aura. It's a good unit still, but the fact that it doesn't have the same level of armor, of army support, I think makes me sad. So like we could just take 2 rhinos and have like literally an entire other unit in here. Yeah, just run Argos for early Miracle Dice, yeah. I guess you could also like you could play like a Dominion Immolator and play it really aggressively. Because you can like buy it sustained hits for a CP, right? Or lethal hits, I guess, too. And then just use that to like force your opponent into engagement. That's probably helpful too. I think we'll stick with this one for the time being. We'll see how we feel. So here's the list right now. And I guess we can play around with some weapons. We have an Immolator with multi-meltas. So we have a bunch of multi-melta stuff. Put Hunter Killer Missiles on all our tanks. Get some multi-melta equipped Paragon Warsuits. I wonder if the Paragon Mace is actually okay here. 1 less attack, but you can push it to AP2, which is kind of a big breakpoint. I don't know. I think we'll stick with the sword for now. And then, I don't know, we'll talk about it. So it's Junith. She's going to hang out with a combat squad of Battle Sisters, and we'll put the other combat squad in the Immolator. Morbid Vol, a Canoness, Dialogus, Hospitaller, and Palatine. The Dialogus is just going to sit in the back and do... please don't deep strike on me, Civil Play. She should cost 5 extra points, but we don't have it in the new recruit yet. Canoness with the Ignore Weapon Skill Modifiers enhancement. Palatine with the Stab Harder enhancement. Plus 2x3 Arcoflagellants, 3 into 10 Sacrosants. Double Castigators. Could take or leave the autocannons versus battle cannon. We could take one of each, maybe. Battle cannon's better at starting the chain, but the autocannon's better in a larger variety. But I'm not sure. And then 3 Paragon Warsuits and Immolator Double Rhino to deliver the Sacrosants. So one of them either starts in reserve or just ground pounds up the table, which is probably fine. But the Rhinos let us play a little bit more aggro with those Sacrosants on turn 1 without having to worry about them getting like yeeted off the table by a blast weapon or something. And then we can hopefully commit them later on in the game. Strike 13 maces kind of nuts. Yeah, but they're also already +1 to wound and full rerolls. Like, I don't know. The more I think about it, the less I feel like the extra attack is like probably it's kind of a big deal because they're extremely high value attacks. So yeah, chat. That's what we got for old Champions of Faith. I don't know if this detachment's gonna see play. I think it's, if this had, I would actually feel like pretty positive about this detachment if it had the rider like the, or the claws like the Mechanicus one, where you could target stuff in vehicles. The fact that you can't feels like an oversight to me.
Midwest War Games donated $2 through Super Chat. I think the sniper enhancement is good.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Midwest War Games. Appreciate you, buddy. I do it. You could take it in place of the weapon skill modifier thing. On the Canoness, maybe. I think it's probably a side grade. Isn't the Navigator better? It's more points. Navigator costs 10 more than the character with the enhancement. And the Navigator doesn't give up Miracle Dice, doesn't benefit from Miracle Dice, it's easier to kill, it doesn't have its like leadership aura. So I don't think the Navigator is not, I don't think the Navigator is better. It just has its like funny gun. It's funny mortal wound gun. This is purely theoretical because no one will play it. Yeah, that might be the case. That is probably more the case for these armies that have full codexes worth of detachments to play around with. Well, anyway, chat. That's I don't know. I'm very lukewarm on this detachment. This feels like the most lukewarm detachments ever. I think. I do not have strong feelings either way about Champions of Faith, which is, I think, maybe the worst case scenario. We're not as like hilariously inept as the Thousand Suns one, or like as overconvoluted as the Zinch one. We're just boring and kind of like mediocre. Yeah, easily a fun detachment. Run this to tournament in January. Oh, that's cool. A tournament encouraging Grotsmas detachments. That's fun. Yeah, just like to have people play with them. I actually love that. Whoa! Midwest Wargaming with the gifted. Hot damn, dude. Thank you so much. Bonesaw is ready. Warlock of Wi-Fi. Adam Downs. Henry P. Zach Day. Nathan Shelley. Brian Cullen. Hengast. 40k Medic. LMYT 40k. Congratulations on getting those channel memberships, y'all. Merry Christmas. Oh, Merry Grotsmas. Well, this is not the only stream that we have scheduled for today. If you stick around, I'm going to do a redirect to our next stream. Well, I'm going to do that in the afternoon. Right. So far, we've been doing, as of yesterday, we've been doing a morning and an afternoon stream to talk about different detachments. There's a couple of detachments we haven't talked about today so far. And the next one we're going to do is Librarius Conclave. So we'll do that in probably about 2 hours, I think. I'm gonna go take a little break. Y'all can go watch my Titus video. Don't forget to watch that one. Here you go. Here's the Titus one. And I'll see you in a couple hours. I'm also gonna make a list for that one because that's the Librarius Conclave is probably like the most difficult detachment to build a list for out of anyone that I've tried so far. It's been nuts. I guess the Drukari one actually blew my fucking mind. That melted my brain out of my ears. But this Conclave one is kind of going ham. But anyway, folks, just how close to Space Marine 2 gameplay they made Titus. It's cute. Yeah, there's so many little nods to Titus's mechanics in the video game, which I absolutely love. I think it's super cool. But I also think he's really good, which is also super nice. As having a sustained hit outlet in Space Marines that is not keyed to an enhancement is a big deal for the faction, because literally nothing else, no one else in the faction does that. Besides the Fire Discipline guy, which is, again, only Gladius Task Force, and costs you 1,000,000 points. So, yeah. So anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and please come hang out with me for the next stream. Cheers.